The average Amazon user has 23 items in their cart at any given time. Now look, you're not indecisive. Let's be clear about that. You make decisions all day long. You decide what to eat, what to say, which emails to ignore. You're a functioning adult with a working credit card and an Amazon account you've probably had since 2014. And yet, right now, at this very moment, that cart is filled. Not a little filled either. We're talking 6, maybe 9, maybe 14 items. It could be a book you heard about on a podcast 3 weeks ago, or something for the kitchen that you fully convinced yourself was a need and not a want. That cart has been sitting there so long that one of the items is now out of stock, and for some reason that felt personal. It's not like you forgot about it because Amazon keeps sending those little don't forget reminders. And it's not that you're broke or even that busy. You just didn't buy it. And if you sit with that for a second, really sit with it, you might start to wonder, what exactly are you getting out of the cart that you don't get from the purchase? Because you're getting something. You keep coming back to it. So what is this actually about? And more importantly, what's it actually costing you? Phantom ownership. The moment you add something to your Amazon cart, a small but very real part of your brain files it as yours. Not completely yours, but kind of yours, like a soft version of having it. It's like when you screenshot a hotel room you're not booking yet, or you save an apartment listing you're not applying for. The saving is doing emotional work. The cart is doing emotional work. Psychologists have a name for this. They call it the endowment effect. But in your day-to-day life, it just feels like relief. You opened Amazon because something was bothering you, a gap in your life, a need, an itch. And the moment that item entered your cart, the itch faded because you've simulated the ownership. You can almost picture where you'd put it in your apartment or what it would be like to have it ready for the thing you're planning. And now your nervous system thinks it got something, when actually it got nothing except a number in a cart. But what you don't realize is that this same pattern is showing up everywhere else in your life, not just on Amazon. We'll come back to that. Comfort scrolling. There's a specific kind of Amazon visit, and I know you've done it. You open the app without a single reason. You don't actually need anything, you just open it. The same way you'd open Instagram or TikTok, you're scrolling, scanning, just looking. And then things start hitting the cart. A book you tell yourself you'll definitely read, a supplement that sounded life-changing in a video. But then you finally close the app, you haven't bought a single thing, yet you feel strangely better, like you actually accomplished something. See, this is what comfort scrolling looks like when it migrates to Amazon. And honestly, it's a lot more common than people want to admit. Because when life feels chaotic or dull or anxious, Amazon feels orderly. Everything has a price, a rating, a category. You can sort it, you can filter it, you can save it. In that moment, you are in total control of a very small, very contained world. The cart fills up because filling it is the activity, and actually hitting buy would just end the experience. And that's the last thing you want when the experience is the comfort. If this is hitting close to home, go ahead and hit that like button. It actually helps more people find these videos. Research spiral. The internet has given us a superpower that our brains literally weren't built for. Think about it. There has never been a time in human history where you had access to this much data for a simple $23 purchase. So we fall into the research spiral because it doesn't feel like procrastination. It genuinely feels like due diligence. You're telling yourself, what if there's a better version? What if the reviews are fake? What if there's a sale coming soon? Before you know it, the research becomes its own activity, separate from the actual shopping. It's basically a hobby now. You've invested so much time into knowing this product that the information itself, the specs, the edge cases, the one guy who had a problem with it, is now part of your mental landscape. And that investment makes it almost impossible to just click buy and move on. So your cart becomes the ultimate destination for every unresolved comparison you've ever made. But all that research isn't just wasting your time, it's actually hiding something much more expensive, and I'm not talking about money. Decision deferral. You tell yourself, I'll buy it when I actually need it. Or sometimes it's, I'm just keeping it there so I don't forget about it. Or the classic, I'll decide later. And look, these all feel like responsible, adult, non-impulsive thoughts. I mean, when you actually need something, like you're out of coffee or your phone charger snaps, you buy it immediately, no friction, done. But the moment something is optional, the moment it's a want dressed up as a need, you add it to the Amazon cart, because adding it feels like progress. It feels like you've moved the decision forward without actually making it. And technically you have, because at that point all that's left is clicking one button, and that one button represents finality. But to your brain, finality feels like a kind of loss. So your brain is basically trying to protect you from that loss by keeping your options open. We talk a lot about decision fatigue these days, about how exhausted we all are from choosing the best version of every single thing. And I think the Amazon cart is living proof of that exhaustion. False readiness. Most people who fill their Amazon carts without buying have developed what I call a readiness narrative. It's a story you tell yourself about the perfect conditions that need to exist before you hit buy. It sounds something like, when my finances settle a bit, or when the apartment situation gets clearer, or when I'm 100% sure I need this and don't just want it. See, these conditions sound rational. They sound like the kind of thinking a responsible adult does. And honestly, sometimes they are. But if you look closely, have you noticed how those conditions keep shifting? The finances settle, but now something else needs to be certain first. And that's the beauty of the readiness narrative. It never sounds like a no. It sounds like a thoughtful yes, just not right this second. It's the ultimate stalling tactic. And what makes this even more interesting is that it connects directly back to that phantom ownership from the beginning, because the cart lets you feel like you own these things without actually having to commit. You get the identity without the risk. If you're starting to see your own patterns here, make sure you're subscribed. I break down these kinds of behavioral traps every week. Possibility hoarding. Go look at your Amazon cart right now. There's something in there that you genuinely have no immediate use for, and you know it, but you put it in there anyway. Maybe it's a hiking backpack and you haven't hiked in 3 years. Maybe it's a language learning workbook and you've tried twice before. Maybe it's equipment for a hobby you want to start, or a version of something you'd need if your life looked slightly different than it does right now. And the reason it's in the cart is not because you're planning to buy it. It's because you don't want to close the door on the version of you that might want it. In that cart, you get to be everyone. You're the person who hikes, the person who does yoga every morning. You're all of them at once, all pending. Because as long as it's in the cart, it doesn't cost you anything. You get the hit of the identity without the actual work or the identity shift that buying and using them would require. The question we started with was, what are you getting from the cart that you don't get from the purchase? If you follow this all the way through, the answer is probably safety. The cart is safe. The wanting is safe. The potential is safe. See, the purchase is where things get real. That's where things can disappoint you or not fit your life the way you imagined, or just become another object in a house full of objects. And that is a lot to sign up for just from clicking a buy button. I like to think of the cart as the place where desire goes when it doesn't quite have enough clarity to become action. For a lot of people, that's actually a comfortable place to let things live. But listen, none of this makes you irrational. These behaviors are just a response to something. They come from how you learned to want things, or how safe it felt to commit, or how much permission you were given to just buy something simply because you wanted it and let that be enough. So the real question isn't whether you should empty your cart, because there's a difference between saving something for later and saving yourself from the decision entirely. You don't have to empty your cart, but you should probably know which one you're doing. And let me know in the comments, what's the oldest item in your cart right now? I'm genuinely curious. If you found yourself in any of these traps, you're probably stuck in a few others too. And if you haven't already, subscribe, because I break down these kinds of patterns every week. Thanks for watching.